Hello everyone, let's continue the chapter from rearing silkworms. We shall understand how the silkworms are raised or reared for commercial purpose. In rearing of silkworms, adult female moth lays hundreds of eggs at a time on mulberry leaves. And these eggs are stored on paper or sometimes it is also stored on piece of cloth. And the eggs are sold to silkworm farmers. The people who practice sericulture are called silkworm farmers and rearing of silkworm is called sericulture. Alright. And these eggs are kept under warm conditions and the larva hatches out from the egg. And the young organism that comes out is called caterpillar or silkworm. Rearing of silkworm is usually done when mulberry trees bear fresh leaves because the young caterpillar prefers eating fresh leaves rather than the matured leaves. Along with fresh mulberry leaves, these silkworms or the caterpillar is kept in clean tray for about 20 to 30 days. Alright, and the silkworm starts growing in size. After 30 days, caterpillar stops eating mulberry leaves and they are moved to bamboo chambers. In the small bamboo chamber, the caterpillar starts secreting a fiber by swinging its head. On exposure to air and also in presence of protein, this fiber starts getting hard and thick and that is called as cocoon. And the caterpillar will be inside the cocoon and that changes into pupa. And the pupa inside the cocoon develops into an adult silk moth. And this adult silk moth pierces the cocoon shell and comes out of the cocoon. So this is how the silkworms are reared for commercial purpose. So far we have understood how the silkworms are raised or reared for commercial purpose and also life history of silkworm in my previous video. If you have missed the video, I will provide the link in the description box and also in the I button. Please do watch that video as well. Now we shall proceed to processing of silk. In this part, we will understand how the silk threads or silk fibers are obtained from cocoon and also how these cocoons are used to make silk cloth. In the process of making silk, cocoons play an important role. The process of taking out the fibers or the silk threads from the cocoon is called reeling. For the reeling process, cocoons are collected. Once the cocoons are collected, these cocoons are boiled or kept in sun. It is because the process of reeling should be started before the silk moth emerges out of the cocoon. Once the moth comes out of the cocoon, the shell will be of no use because the adult emerges by piercing the cocoon shell, right? So to prevent this, cocoons are either boiled or kept in sunlight. Okay, so by doing this, it kills the pupa which is inside the cocoon. So the process of taking out silk fibers from the cocoon is called reeling. Silk is reeled in special machines which you can see in this picture and these machines unwinds the silk fibers from the cocoon. Okay, so this helps in obtaining superior quality silk fibers. In the next step, these silk fibers are spun into yarns or silk threads. This step is called spinning. After spinning, these yarns are weaved by weavers. In weaving, silk threads are weaved or arranged in vertical and horizontal fashion. In this figure, you can see weaving of silk threads in vertical as well as in horizontal fashion. By doing this, silk threads are weaved into fabric. Hence, we get silk cloth. After learning so much about silk, let's understand the history of silk. Silk was first originated in China. The emperor called Huangdi found some damaged leaves of mulberry plant in his garden. So he asked his empress to find out the reason for the damage of mulberry leaves. The empress found some white worms eating up mulberry leaves. In the meantime, accidentally a cocoon dropped into her cup of tea. And we know when cocoons are boiled, fibers get separated from the cocoon, right? So when cocoon was dropped into her cup of tea, threads started getting separated from the cocoon. So by this way, silk was first discovered in China. But they kept it as secret for hundreds of years. And later on, slowly and gradually, traders and travelers introduced silk to other countries. The route they traveled is still called as Silk Route. The traders and travelers introduced silk to other countries through land and water, and it was mainly through land. And this route became famous as Silk Route. Alright guys, with this we have come to an end of the chapter. If you have enjoyed this video, please do like, share, subscribe and share this video with your friends and hit the bell icon which is next to the subscribe button. I'll see you in my next video. Until then, keep learning. Bye bye.